Hello and very welcome to my channel. Today we are going to complete the rest part of the dedicated freight corridor examination questions. So previously we had done the 12 questions of the electrical machines. So today we are going to solve the rest part of them. So I'm going to solve one by one. I'm going to start with the question number 13. We had completed the question number 12 in the previous sections. The question number 13 they are asking the primary of a dash should never be energized should never be energized when is secondary is open circuited. So there is a four options given over here, that is potential transformer, other option is given, that is a current transformer, so option C is given as auto transformer, option D is given as power transformer. So if this type of question come in the exam, that the primary of a transformer should never be energized when the secondary is open circuited, so the option B, that is the current transformer, will be the correct answer, because in the case of current transformer only, the primary winding should never be energized when the secondary is open circuited. I think this question is clear to you now. Now I'm going to proceed with the question number 14. That is for a simplex wave-wound generator. For a simplex wave-wound generator, EMF generated path is given by, so the four options are given over here, that is phi Pn by 120, option B is phi ZPN by 120, option C is given as phi ZPN by 180, and option D is given as phi Zn by 60. So it is given the wave-wound generator. For the wave-wound, the number of armature turns will be equal to 2. That is for wave winding. And the armature turns will be equal to the number of poles, that is for lap winding. So just now we go back to the back EMF equation. EB is given by P phi Zn by 60 into A. So we know what is the A. A is the number of 2, as the question is asking for the simplex wave-wound generator. So we'll just put 2 in the place of A. 60 into 2, that is P phi Zn by 120 will be the answer. So if they are asking for the lap winding in the case of wave winding, so if they ask lap winding in the question, so what would be the answer? So EB will remain same, that is a P phi Nz by 60, and in the case of P, A, it will be P, because number of poles, it will be equal to the number of armature path. So this will be cancelled. It would be phi Zn by 60. Then option number 4 would be correct in case of lap winding. But as he is asking the simple wave winding, so P5Zn by 120 will be the correct answer. I hope this concept is clear to you now. Now I go forward to the question number 15. So what the question number 15 is asking, a three-phase wound rotor motor, a three-phase wound rotor motor, a three-phase wound rotor motor are commonly called as so options are given over here, that is synchronous motor. Number B is given as commutator. Option C is given as slip ring. Option D is given as series. So if this type of question comes, the three-phase rotor motor are commonly known as, it will be slip ring. It's a theoretical question, so it's very easy to understand. Now I'm going to option number 16, that is running the machine at no load. Running the machine at no load. Running the machine at no load is not recommended. For option number A is given as induction motor. Number B is given as DC shunt motor. Option C is given as synchronous motor. Option D, that is DC series motor. So we had discussed this one earlier also, that in case of DC series motor, so there is the requirement of the load to start the motor, because the starting current is very high, and if the series motor is started without any load, so the speed of the armature will be very high, too high, that it will burn out the armature coil. So it is recommended to start the motor at least a simple load. So DC series motor will be the answer. So in the case of DC series motor, so the machine should not be run without any load. So now I go to the question number 17. Question number 17, they are asking that dash is a type of single phase motor which has the lowest speed. So here the four options are given, that is hysteresis motor. Option C, B is given as universal motor. Option C is given with shaded pole motor, and option D is given as repulsion motor. So in this question, if they are asking that a type of single phase motor which has the lowest speed, so option C will be the correct answer. There is a shaded pole. So shaded pole motor is only the single phase motor which runs at the lowest speed. So it is a theoretical question, so it's very easy. Now I'm going to question number 18. So question number 18 they are asking a capacitor start motor. A capacitor start motor has so there are four options. There is a high starting torque, option B is given as low efficiency, option C is given as lower power factor, and option D is given as high power factor. So in this question they are asking that is the capacitor start motor. So capacitor start motor will always have a high power factor. So this type of question if comes for the capacitor start motor, so the high power factor will be the correct answer. So now I go for the question number 19. That is the open circuit characteristics. The open circuit characteristics of a DC generator, open circuit characteristics of a DC generator is called as, so there are four options are given. Option A is internal, option B is given as performance, option C is given as external, option D is given as no load saturation. So if they are asking the OCC, that is the open circuit characteristics of the DC generator, it will always be the option that is the no load saturation. No load saturation is also called as magnetic characteristics. So magnetic characteristics will be called when they are asking to measure the open circuit characteristics of a DC generator. So I hope it is very easy. Now I go to the question number 20. So question number 20 they are asking the direction of a rotation of a field, the direction of rotation of field, in a three-phase induction motor, in a three-phase induction motor, that depends on the there are four options given. Option number A is supply voltage, option B is given as the supply frequency, option C is given as number of poles, and option D is given as phase sequence of supply voltage, that is the phase sequence of supply voltage. So in this case, if they are asking the question that is the direction of rotation of the field of a three-phase induction motor. So it will be the answer, that is the phase sequence of the supply voltage. So if they would have asked the speed of an induction motor, what will be the speed? The speed will be depend on the supply voltage, number of pole, as well as the supply frequency. But in this case they are asking the direction of the rotation of the field. So the phase sequence of the supply voltage. So what will be the phase sequence of the supply voltage? So that will be the answer in this case. So the direction of the rotation of the field in the three-phase induction motor will always depend on the phase sequence of the supply voltage. So according to the sequence of the supply voltage, the direction of rotation field in the three-phase induction motor will depend. I hope this question answer is clear to you. Now I go approach to the question number 21. So question number 21, they are asking the function of a dummy coil in the DC machine. The function of dummy coil in a DC machine. Is to, why the dummy coil is used in the DC machine. So this is asking, just options are given, that is improve commutation, option B is given as, that is reduce machine cost, Option C is given as mechanically balance the armature. And option D is given as increase efficiency. So in this case they are asking the function of the dummy coil. So it will be of course the mechanically balance the armature. So dummy coil is nothing but a duplicate coil or extra coil which is kept. So when the machine is running, it will provide a proper balance so that the armature will revolve smoothly. So it is the mechanically balance of the armature. The dummy coil is being used in the DC machines. So now I go to the question number 22. So question number 22, what they are asking question number 22, that is to obtain the greater efficiency, to obtain a greater efficiency, the slip of an induction motor should be, the slip of an induction motor should be. So if so they want the greater efficiency, so what will be the nature of the slip? It should be low or it should be very high. Option C is given as high. Option D is given as 1. So they are asking the efficiency should be very high. This efficiency should be very high. So on that basis the slip should be low, because we know slip is equal to Ns minus Nr by Ns. That is a synchronous speed, no load speed, and other is synchronous speed. So the slip, if the slip is low, ultimately the efficiency of the machine will go high. So the low will be the answer. So I hope you have understood. To get the greater efficiency, the nature of the slip should be low, because with this formula ns minus nr by ns, synchronous speed and there is a rotational speed. So the speed is low, slip is low, the efficiency will ultimately be very high. So now I go to the question number 23. The current drawn by a 220 volt DC motor of armature resistance is given as 0.5 ohm, and the back EMF 180 volt. That is, so the four options are given, that is 0.8 ampere, option B is given as 80 ampere, option C is given as 8 ampere, option D is given as 18 ampere. So what they are asking? They are asking the armature current. They are asking what are the given values. Voltage is given as 220 volt. The armature resistance is given as 0.5 ohm, and back EMF is also given as 180 volt. So we know for this for the DC motor. For DC motor, we know the formula. Back EMF is written as EB is equal to V minus IA into RA. So we just put the value of back EMF, that is 180 over here. 180 is equal to voltage is 220 minus IA into RA is 0.5. Now we do the calculations. 180 minus 220 is equal to minus IA into 0.5, and that is minus 40 divided by minus 0.5, that will be 80 ampere, and that is the value of armature current. I hope it is clear how I calculate the armature current. If they would have asked for the generator, for DC generator, then the back EMF would be EV would have been EV plus V plus IA RA. But they are asking for the DC motor, so back EMF it will be V minus IA RA. So it is armature current is 80 ampere. I hope this is very easy numerical. So now I'm going forward to the next question. That is the last question of electrical machines. So the last question they are asking, the magnetic flux density. It's question number 24. The magnetic flux density on the surface of iron phase, on the surface of iron phase is 1.5 Tesla, which is the typical saturation, level, value of ferromagnetic material, saturation level, value of ferromagnetic material. So what they are asking in the question, find the force density on the iron phase. Find the force density on iron phase. So in this question, the flux density on the surface of the iron phase is given as 1.5 Tesla. So which is the typical saturation level of the ferromagnetic material. So find the force density on the iron phase. So the magnetic flux Bm is already given as 1.5 Tesla. So now we have to find the force. Force we know, that is the half Bm square by mu. So we find the value, that is half. We put the value into here. Bm we put, that is 1.5 square. Mu we can write, as we know mu is equal to 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. So we put here value 4 pi is 3.14 into 10 to the power minus 7. So if we calculate the whole value, we will get the answer, that is 0.895 into 10 to the power 6 into 10 to the power 6, that is Newton 10 to the power per meter square. So I hope you have understood how to calculate this. That is we have magnetic flux, iron phase flux density, that is 1.5 Tesla. F formula is just, we have put the value in the formula. F is equal to half into Bm square by mu. Mu is nothing but 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. So we have put the value and we have got this answer, 0.95 10 to the power 6 Newton meter square. So the 4 options were given. I am writing the 4 options which were given here. That is 0.59 was given into 10 to the power 6 Newton per meter. So option B was given 0.59 into 10 to the power 6 Newton per meter square. Option C was given 0.89 into 10 to the power 6 Newton per meter. Option D was given 0.89 into 10 to the power 6 Newton per meter square. So option D would be the correct answer for this 0.95 10 to the power 6 Newton per meter square. So I hope you have liked all my numericals of electrical machines which I have solved till now. And so we have completed so far the electrical machines part, circuit analysis and measurement. So I hope you like my videos, and please if you like my videos, please like and subscribe it. And thanks for watching these videos. Have a great day. Bye bye.